doop 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 doo. Rap-a-bee-da-ba-da-ba-da-bum. Rap-a-ba-da-ba-da-bee-da-bum. Good, that's live. Da-dum, dee-la-dum, ba-da-ba-ba-da-bee. And then I can do something like... Nice. Don't want that actually on, though. Cool beans. Yeah, so, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Building Worlds. I am, humble GM world builder Joshua MacGregor, and this is a show where I, basically do an open writing session, where I do some world building, and you guys can join in, throw out your ideas, discuss different things that you're interested in, that I'm interested in, anything that I'm doing, anything that you guys want to chat about, and we do that, and we have an evening together. I'm here from 7:30 to 11 GMT, so anytime you want to drop in, do so. That's the fun of Twitch. I'm 2 minutes late starting this. I was thrown off a little bit because Twitter logged me out and now won't allow me to get back into my account, which is really, and it's saying like, we can't find your account, which is very funny to me because I'm logged on my phone. So I was trying to make it easy and be able to like copy paste, do a little like, hey, I'm streaming now, thing on Twitch, and can't do that because Twitter on here is absolutely broken. So that's annoying. Yeah. So yeah, we're not doing that. We're just gonna do the stream. Maybe I'll do a little Facebook post, because that's, once a week is not too bad. It's on my mind. Boop. This is on my mind. Building worlds. The other thing that I wanted to do for this actually going forward, let me see if I can edit stream info. There we go. Go live notification title. There's nothing really to add, like a description to what I'm doing. In any case, maybe post stream I'll do this, but I wanted to put in a the location that these things go to live after the stream is done, because they only live on here for a couple of weeks' time. And by the time I do, I'm 2 streams down the line, the other one is gone. So I wanted to make sure that people who wanted to see this stuff absolutely can do that. My plans for my own YouTube channel kind of fell through, which is a shame. I haven't had the time. There's a lot of personal projects going on, which is a lot of fun. Just means that like the long form stuff there was meant to be a condensed version which went on my channel, and then the long form stuff went on the Hidden Realms channel, because that's what that's for. Hidden Realms channel is for D&D content and anything related to tabletop role playing, and this as well. So that's really fantastic. It's good. We've got a few campaigns up on there if you wanted to check it out. Yeah. So that's where these are going to live. As they come down from Twitch, they go over to YouTube. So that's kind of fun. So let's do a little post that's just saying, hey, all streaming again this week. Huzzah! We are moving on to the metropolitan world. Trading world. Unan this week. Come hop in and check it out if you like. And post. There we go. So, now that is done, let's start making a world, shall we? Let's make sure that this is muted, and there we go. I would like to welcome you, one and all, dun 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 dun, hey, to Unan. The first world we went to, of course, was Rayara. So an oceanic world with archipelagos and things in the deep was kind of the vibe we're getting from that world. The second world we went to was Sekahashis, which has its own vibe to it. The world that's bifurcated between night and day. One side that's constantly facing the sun, the world does not spin, and the other that's constantly facing outward into the void of space, and is therefore night. And then the danger of that and the competition of life on that world, I wanted to come to a very different world this time because I've been wanting to explore this place for a while. For those of you who don't know, I kind of reiterate this every time, but the wider context of this is the Ignaculus system. The galaxy of Ignaculus is an elliptical galaxy, which means it doesn't have a spiral to it, but it still has the core and sort of stars surrounding. And all of these worlds exist in the Ignaculus galaxy. Very different systems, but all exist in this shared space. And they were connected via space-bending gates called Unar gates when the Esmeran Empire came into being. The Esmerans were a race of gods, a pantheon of gods, if you will, who connected all of these different worlds and began this age of prosperity, which continued for the better part of 4,000 years. And then they had their ups and downs, but then there was this big war, and they were destroyed, and the gates were broken. And there was a period of around 400 years of darkness between these worlds. And during that time, the Erzuli of Rayara was a good place to start, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, were working to get back in touch with the rest of the galaxy. And in... let's go to history. In the 400th year post-war, they succeeded. They got in touch with a world called Muranar, where the centaurs, the very, very wise centaurs, live. And over the course of the following few hundred years, they have continued to make contact. And to make contact with a lot of these worlds that were once part of the Esmeran Empire, some of which were not, but most of which were part of the Esmeran Empire, and beginning to reconnect using space vessels that can do short range space bending, as opposed to the Unar gates, which were very stable fixtures. And the reason that this was possible is I don't like the idea of technologies being lost forever, you know? Like, I find it much more realistic that if great technology was invented and then there was a cataclysm of some description, like an Atlantean cataclysm, people would be so determined to get that technology back, I would think, that they would work tirelessly and try to, because the incentives of getting that technology and using it for yourself, getting those magics and using them for yourself, would be so high, would be so intense, that that you would stop at nothing. You would work as hard as you possibly could to get that technology back up and running again. And the sort of like remnant technology, remnant magics left behind by the Esmeran gods by this war would have been these scraps of gods left behind would be picked up and sort of allow for the engineering of magic, if not as powerful or sophisticated, at the very least comparable, for something that like mortals or beings of a lesser power than gods would be able to accomplish. So that was the idea of this galaxy, of the Ignaculus galaxy. And some of the things that have been cropping into all of these worlds that I've been building, but are going to be especially important here, is the Dahiri Empire as a force that in the universe. So the sort of the timeline here goes that year 400 happens. The disparate worlds of and around the empire, the old empire, the Ismerans, begin to reconnect. You get Rayara getting in touch with Morinar, getting in touch with Sekahashis, and Matazion, and all of these worlds. In fact, we've got a list of sort of the independent planet states: Morinar, Drastia, Ipia, Rayara, Sekahashis, Melamara, Limerence, Morbradis, Metazion, Unan, Sarwin, etc. These are some of the first ones we're going to be visiting, by the way, as the year goes on, as I want to make my way through this list. Not necessarily in order, as is become apparent, but something definitely to look for. And so a lot of these worlds, they start to get in touch with them, and then they get in touch with the Dahiri Empire, who have got space travel within their own solar system, but haven't figured out how to expand beyond that. And then, of course, contact is made, and they get a hold of that technology, and this very warlike, very militaristic human empire begins to threaten the independent planets. And so we get, in the year 560, I'm doing even numbers. I don't know why the fuck I'm doing even numbers. I suppose it's just because it's cleaner, Everything happens on an even number. Let's just say that that's accurate. That in the year 560 post-war, the Dahiri system is rediscovered, and Dahiri Prime is the center of the Dahiri Empire. Within 10 years, the Dahiri Empire begins to take over planets and begins to expand their territory so drastically and with such enormous firepower that the Centaurs of Morinar create the Anaran Assembly. So in the year 570, the Anaran Assembly is formed. This is important because this is 130 years before this day, the present day, when modern stories in this setting would be taking place. The Anaran Assembly is the United Nations. It's the nothing ever gets done, but the only part of this that matters is if we get attacked by the Dahiri Empire, we don't let them pick us off one by one. We stand together, and together we have enough of a military chance against them to survive. In essence, is what the Anaran Assembly's modus operandi is. It's what their mission statement is to protect everyone and eventually to figure out how to make peace with the Dahiri Empire permanently, so that there isn't, huge intergalactic war all the time. And there, I am building to something here, because this grand scale, more than on Rayara, more than on Sekahashis, is going to be affecting Unan. And the Anaran Assembly's interests versus the Dahiri Empire's interests is going to be such a big part of this world. Because the Dahiri Empire's thing is that the Ismerans originally were human gods. They ended up representing a lot of different races, but originally they came from this world and guided humanity and scattered them across all these different worlds so that humans would survive, because their original homeworld was going to be broken, was unable to support life anymore. The original homeworld of humanity, called Wen, which, it's worth doing maybe one stream on Wen at some point, because it's it's a wasteland now, but there's a lot of history there. In any case, the Ismerans mean more for the humanity. They existed to protect humanity in a universe where humans are not the top dogs. There are people with innate magic ability. There are people who are made out of elemental stuff. You've got, earth and air genazis. You've got elves who live for hundreds of years. You've got Furbolg with an innate connection to nature, the ability to just snap, turn invisible. etc. You know, you've got telepaths and all of these things and giants and it's a big and scary universe out there. In any case, the Dahiri Empire acknowledges that their gods are gone, but wants to reestablish what that empire was. The territories that it had, the systems of law that were in place there. They want to be the new Esmeran Empire, but run by humanity. And that makes Unan a big deal. Let's get back to Unan. Unan's a huge deal. The Esmerans had their own world, Esmera, called the Green World. It's maybe worth doing that. Yeah, like Ruined World, Saruin, Esmera, and Wen might be good ones to do all at the same time, actually. That'd be a fun little special thing. Unan was special for the Esmerans because they kept Esmera for themselves. It was a small world, it was a fertile world. They did not bring humanity to Esmera. Instead, they brought humanity primarily to Unan. And this was the central hub of the empire. More so than Esmera itself was. Unan was the trading center for all of the worlds of Ignaculus. Forgive me. All of the discovered worlds of Ignaculus were had interests on Unan, were able to trade with one another through the intermediary cities and markets of Unan. And so the idea of this enormous, absolutely enormous, sprawling world, the equivalent in size of, I'm gonna get this wrong. There's a Dominaria on in Magic the Gathering lore, which is sort of like the big fantasy world. The extended world of Westeros beyond sort of the more or less island that the story takes place on, the equivalent of our world in size and scope. I've made a world that has enough complexity to it that it, before called Cygalia, which eventually I will do a stream on Cygalia. Make my apologies because it's an absolute nightmare mess, but it's so much fun. I love it there, and I love the way that it's progressing. So much detail and so much lore and story. If you want more about Cygalia, please go and check out the Hidden Realms YouTube channel. In any case, I want a world that big, right? That became not only a trading zone, trading market, like planet-sized marketplace, essentially. But in addition to that, became a place where there were permanent residents from every race across all of these different worlds. And I want this to be the biggest multicultural hodgepodge world where any kind of story can take place here. But the emphasis is less on environmental hazards and less on sort of the monsters that make up this world and the natural phenomenon that people are fighting, and more about interpersonal conflicts. So let's start by trying to put all of that into a little blurb in the concepts and conflicts. This is the staging ground for an enormous amount of the conflict between the Anaran Assembly and the Dahiri Empire, where agents from the Empire will be able to come here and do trade, and this would be the unofficial middle ground between the Empire and the Assembly, even though it is part of Assembly space. But I believe that's right. The Dahiri worlds are, the Dahiri system, Ashkar, Persiflag, Krustia, Jorn and Jaga, Graxa here, and Envor, which is the one that they're besieging. Yeah. Hello! Hello, Mike! Hello, Carrie! Lovely to see you both. Please lurk away. Lurk all you like as I try my best to organize. And Alberta, hello. Mwah. Lovely to see you all. Yeah, lurk away as I try to get my thoughts in some kind of order and eventually actually work on this document. Oh, lordy lord. Oh yeah, the other thing is that the Rayara is now the setting of a D&D 3-shot, the first session of which is on YouTube right now at Hidden Realms. I'll probably put a description in the a link in the doobly-doo after this is done. Yeah, and a lot of these people are a part of it, and it's awesome. And I'm so excited to cap it off in a little over a week's time. It's gonna be great. Those episodes are gonna keep coming out in between these coming out, so that's really fun. The party enters a shop. They notice an amazing helmet, but the merchant insists it's beyond anything they can handle. If the rogue steals it, it sticks to their head. Helmet mimic? Velixion, first of all, welcome back. Wonderful to see you in the chat again. Helmet mimic sounds terrifying, but also kind of cute, like a cat that sticks to your head. I wouldn't mind. Yeah, I would not mind that. Do I have a command to link the chat? I actually don't know what that means. I'm so new to Twitch, and I don't often watch things on Twitch live that I don't know what that is. A command to Twitch to do that. Maybe I can just post a link to. Maybe I can post links to what I'm talking about in there. Hidden Realms D&D. There we go. Ooh, 111 videos. That's crazy. Boop boop boo, ba da ba bum, boop, ba boo doo, beep, ba da ba ba. Dub Music 2020. I have to go, but cheers from Berlin. Keep storytelling. Thank you so much, Dub Music. Feel free to come back anytime. And then a bot will respond to that and link with a pre-written message by you. Ooh! You can get things like that for your channel on Stream Elements, I believe. That is such an interesting idea. First off, let's just put that in there so that people have it. Then I'm just going to go ahead and look at Stream Elements? What even? Settings, stream. Permissions, raid, drops, stream manager, my chat settings, Monica, also creation, chat friends brief, about chat. No, it's only false. Sorry, I said I'd lurk, and now I'm just instructing you on how to run your channel. Thank you. You don't have to be a Pokemon that's sliding out of frame. Although that is very funny. No, please tell me how to do any of this because I'm so new to it and I don't know what I'm doing. No, that's fantastic. So you're saying, do you have a command to link the chat? Example would be !Rayara, and then a bot will respond to that and link to with a pre-written message by you. Ooh, you can get that like that in channel Stream Elements, I believe. Stream Elements. Streaming tools? Is that what that is? Streamlabs. Soundtrack, Streamlabs, Stream Elements. Ooh, that's what that is. A full suite of all your streaming needs. Bot, overlays, loyalty points, giveaways, and much more for new and veteran streamers alike. Ooh. I'm going to set this up when I'm not in the middle of streaming, but for next time, I will have this and have played with it a little bit, maybe. Look forward to a test stream at some point where stuff happens, I guess. That is amazing. I'm going to put that in my bookmarks bar and come back to it another time. Incredible. Okay. We're back. Here we go. It might be something you sort out post-stream. Yeah, exactly what you were saying, Carrie. You, yeah, you had the right of it, and you were there well before I got there. I just wanted to know what you were talking about. That's super cool. Velixion. The party is having issues with a very rude employee. When they ask to see the manager, whom they think they know, the troublesome employee reveals they're a changeling, and indeed, the manager. Velixion, you've touched upon one of my absolute favorite things in D&D, and in fact, in TTRPGs and in storytelling in general, and that is Shapeshifters. I love Shapeshifters. I love trickery. I love trickster gods in mythology. I think that Odin and Loki are the coolest gods. I think they're the coolest ones that exist. Odin especially is badass as all hell. Evil man, but very, very cool. And changelings being a thing is it's awesome. It's so cool. And changelings pretending to be other people, or people going missing, and you're like, where did they go? And it turns out they were changelings. All of that is very, very cool. And in fact, as part of Cygalia, one of the major factions on Cygalia is a nation of changelings. And the inspiration for that was I made a character for a Curse of Strahd game that we were going to stream, and we may have streamed the first few of them, but the long-form version of them I don't think ever made it onto YouTube. Maybe the first hour or so did. The rest of it didn't, unfortunately. And that was one that I left because of work and stuff. But my character Rook, I created this sort of like changeling society as part of his backstory, and then I later fleshed that out and made it a huge part of Cygalia, of the Cygalian world. And the changelings of Cygalia make this like mixture between like a secret society, spy organization, strict sort of training from birth to use their abilities to maximize the potential of shapeshifters, essentially, was the idea. And stuff like that is amazing and so cool, and I love it. I absolutely love it, and I love the ideas of characters not really being who they are, or having like extra layers to what they to what their motivations are, because they're secretly also being other people in the world. That's so much fun. The potential of that is so great. Velixion says, speaking of Loki, anyone else impressed with how they handled his love life? Quick passing mention over coffee, and not altering a character known in mythology for debauchery. Quick passing mention over coffee, and not altering a character known in mythology for debauchery. Is this? Are you talking about like the Loki TV show? Is the Disney Plus show? Yes, the MCU Loki. That's what I was thinking of. Hello, Zabu. Zabu97 has joined the chat. Very heartfelt welcome to you. Please join in and be a part of the discussion. That's a really interesting thing, actually. Loki in the show is really interesting. I think that the first episode's definitely strongest. In terms of his love life, apparently self-cest started to be one of the most searched phrases, terms on Google for a while when that show was airing. And I don't know that going like the weird narcissist, I'm into the girl version of myself route is necessarily the strongest choice you could do with Loki. It's certainly unique, and I think there's a lot that there's a lot going for it insofar as it's very unique, and it's not something that I saw coming. I think them talking about their love lives before they started to become involved with one another was where I thought the series was strongest in terms of Loki's um, love life. Yeah, personally. Yeah. So when they're talking and they're saying like been with boys and girls, a bit of both. That's the bit I'm talking about in terms of um, the strongest part for me. I really liked that. Uh, yeah, they're sort of like nod to the long history that these characters have had. I think is very strong in the Loki series, and they kind of go like, "You've been pulling heists and pulling pranks and literally stabbed me in the back this number of times, and been with boys and girls both." I think that was done really well. I think it was done really well. Yeah, and that both of them had a bit of both as well was yeah was really good. Okay, so should we get back to this planet? Non-world building. We've never done so little in so much time before. It's gonna be great. The Metropolis world, futuristic, multiple spaceports, all races represented. Um, so yes, factions from across the galaxy uh, are represented here and engage in trade between all worlds. Anaran, Anaran, or Dahiri. It is where agents of each faction kill and trade secrets in the shadows. The Cold War frontier of the conflict. Um, do, 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 do. The conflicts here are less about sentient life versus nature or monsters. And more about faction versus faction and individuals versus individuals. So yeah, I'm thinking very much sort of like starting to get a little bit more cyberpunk. We're not quite in that era yet, but we're talking about corporations, we're talking about trade, we're talking about espionage, spy stories, Cold War stuff, secrets being traded, assassinations being taken into account. We want like a big sprawling world, and different areas are different because of the different representations. People who live on this world and have done for thousands of years from every race, from who have their heritages back on homeworlds, people who identify with that very strongly, people who don't identify with that so strongly anymore. This world, which was such a big part of the Esmeran Empire and was this thing of trade, so the conflict becomes the multicultural history and role of this world versus its central position in the old Esmeran Empire, which is now being restored by human human only interests, I guess. Human radicals, human something or other. There's a way of describing it. Velixion says, racist, rabbit folk, status endangered after great division of genetics, but expected to recover within a generation. Ooh, tell me more about that idea, Velixion. That's super interesting. What is a great division of genetics amongst rabbit folk? Because that sounds really cool. Rabbit folk are something that I've wanted to work with storytelling wise for a long time, and if you've played Mass Effect, you know that the Krogan are like a fantastic example of genetic warfare or bio warfare that can be done onto species. Carrie just goes barrels in when you mention rabbit folk. Absolutely. Absolutely, Carrie. That's so funny. Yeah, actually, let's go over to the wiki and let's go over to rabbit folk and let's learn a little bit more about what they write in D&D anyway about rabbit folk. Races, Herringon, that's what they call them. I knew there was a new name for them. I just couldn't remember what it was. You don't have a history with Barry the Klinger Doomer. Yeah, exactly. I knew Barry was coming back. Love Barry. Hair trigger. You can add proficient bonus to your initiative rolls. What a great little jeu de mots. Leporine senses. You have perception skill. Lucky footwork. Oh god, this is funny. Dexterity saving throw. You can use reaction to add a D4 and add it to the save, potentially turning the failure into success. You can't use reaction if you are prone or your speed is 0. Interesting. Rabbit hop bonus actually good jump. Number of feet equal to 5 times your proficiency bonus without provoking opportunity attacks. This is a trait only if your speed is greater than 0. These are number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. Expensive uses when you lose long rest. Mechanically, the Herringon is a great race. I think they balanced it pretty well indeed. I mean, it's strong for sure, but it's fantastic. Herringons originated in the Feywild, where they spoke Sylvan and embodied the spirit of freedom and travel. In time, these rabbit folk hopped into other worlds, bringing the Fey realm's exuberance with them and learning new languages as they went. Herringon are bipedal with characteristic long feet of rabbits they resemble and fur in a variety of colors. They share the keen sense and powerful legs of leporine creatures and are full of energy. Like a wound-up spring, Herringons are blessed with a little fey luck. They often find themselves a few fortunate feet away from dangers during adventures. What a fantastic race. Let's throw them in there. Let's do Heron. Let's call them rabbit folk. Let's distinguish ourselves just a little bit. An attempt to even out the population. Diversity amongst races? An attempt to even out the population diversity amongst races. Like an attempt to try to limit genetic diversity? Is that what you're talking about? Like, we talking genetic genocide here? That's insane. Can we kill off Becca so I can play Barry again? I mean, if you want Becca to die, you're more than welcome to do that. The idea I had was that we would finish our 3-shot and we could let those characters go on their way to be picked up or ignored in the future as you will. That's hilarious. You could play Barry again at any point. You were joking. Okay, you were joking. I can't tell that one. My intention is not to kill Becca. I want to be very clear that my intention is not to kill your Tabaxi character. Otherwise, I wouldn't have given you this scroll to help your character become stronger. Um, but Barry will live on elsewhere. Yeah, fair enough. You did add a tone indicator. That's true. I just didn't know what it meant. So that's where the communication broke down. Slash HJ. Um, I don't know. I don't know what that means. Um, Half joking. Thank you so much for explaining what that means. Uh, thank you. Thank you, Alberta. It's fantastic. But I agree. I agree with Alberta is that I would love to see Carrie. I would love to see you play a rabbit folk at some point because uh, yeah, no, I think you do it really really well, and you've done it before, and obviously enjoy the race. Tabaxi and rabbit folk, I feel, are just great races to choose to play. That's really really good. So yeah, canonically, let's get the rabbit folk in the wider expanded galaxy, connected galaxy with the games we're playing. Let's absolutely do it. Pokemon, aw, those are so cute. Those are so cute. Elixion says, basically the council decided too many rabbits, not enough snake people, so they allowed hunting of one but protection of the other. They went too far, and now the rabbits are protected until their numbers return. Okay, Elixion, this is a really interesting idea. And the idea of population density is for sure one that it would be important on a world like this. I feel that treating this the same as treating it in our world where it's animal control, when it's sentient life, I think there needs to be like a tonal difference there because that is what we do in is when the population of an invasive species like rabbits, can't remember what the other ones are in Australia, for example, goes up. People just allow the hunting of that animal until those numbers decline enough to be kept in check. However, when it's rabbit folk, when it's sentient people who the government are like allowing to be genocided, that's a whole nother thing. And it's possible that we can go that route, but there's a tonal shift there, I feel. My David popular. My God, Parents started the forum where I play animals. Carrie, you don't have to play animals. You can play whatever you like. But yeah, there are sort of like avenues that we do tend to go down. Yeah, Alberta does play elves and half elves a lot, and wizards. You have class preferences as well, and and Carrie playing animals. Um, I feel like if I was more of a player than a DM, which is not the case at all, I would please do send a meme. Yes, yes, yes. If I was more of a player than a DM, I would definitely like have patterns like that. But like it's like whenever I get to play, it's like I want to make something so drastically different from what I played before. It's like I want to play, an Asmar Storm Sorcerer. I'm gonna play a Tabaxi Sun Soul Monk. I'm gonna play. No, you know what? My pattern is speed. My pattern is that I want to get the most foot traffic in a character as possible. Even I played a character called Ramadas the Third, who was a fighter wizard, chronologist, and Echo Knight, and the Echo Knight's shadow actually allows them to move a lot faster if you use the action economy properly. So yeah, speed, fire, and lightning. Those things, lightning and fire as they and energy as they relate to things moving faster, make me happy. Those are typically my things. Um, but not all of my characters have that. I like putting those in my characters that I identify more with. Yeah, that's my thing. I've also played a Minotaur Rogue, which was super fun. I've made a character who's a halfling druid, who I can't wait to play. Is going to be great. But yeah, speed and lightning. Oh, and yes, the council are evil. Velixdown says, yeah, okay, so this world, I want it to be big enough and diverse enough to have an evil council for sure, who could definitely do something like that. But yeah, so sort of like the idea, rabbit folk, um, population density, a problem once the Unan gates were broken? Question mark. That's a good question. Obviously, humans are going to be the most prevalent race, as this was the jewel of the empire. Boo. Great. So we sort of have that. I've changed the way that I do the history things, just to address it, because I didn't like I don't like the BC AD system anyway. So what I've done instead is like the different like ages of the world, and this is something that just people just kind of like know. It's like we are in the year 2022. Before that was pre-time, but as opposed to that, let's pretend that we called it the age of Romans, and we went back another 2,000 years, and so there would be like 2,000 years of Roman history, and then we get to the year 2000 R, and then Jesus, and then and he caps out the Roman era, and then we get in the Christian era, and we call it AD or whatever. So that's kind of the idea now. We've got pre-Ismarian Empire age, and we've got the age of Ismara, which was 4,000 years, which went from 1 through 4,000, and then different people have different names for this, but the post-war era, which is the era that we're 700 years into, began, and about around 400 of those years happened before contact started to be established again, and then in the year 430 in the post-war era, contact is made between Morinar and Unan. So that is the sort of way that works there. And I feel like a good place to start here is... oh yeah, and I do have like a bunch of characters because I did look at doing stories in this world a little while back, and I've got sort of an idea for certain regions. So let's one of the really big ones is Ignaculus, which shows up in sort of like Ismarian mythology. Ignaculus is a major city, the center of trade, even on this world of trading between the worlds, which was destroyed by the god Arceon, who was one of the princes of the empire. By the Ismarian, let's make sure we put that on there. Ismarian god Arceon, out of jealousy and spite. So the Ignaculus is either going to be ruins or it's going to have been rebuilt, but this is an important site, an important region. There's an area, I know it's called the Provinces, which is ruled by somebody called the Unrisen One. These are just things that I know about the world already, just from previous things. We've got Yorva, which is a city-state turned nation. So Yorva. We've got an elven kingdom called, I don't know what it's called yet, kingdom. I don't know what it's called. But run by Queen Kira. I don't know what her surname is either, but there's an elven kingdom on this planet. Shakra. Nagol. Shakra Nagol. Shakra? Let's just take out that stupid apostrophe. Shakra. Shakra Nagol. Is a translates to the Red Isles. And this is an archipelago which is home to orcs and half-orcs. So that's something we've got here. We've got a region called the Lawless Lands, which have rejected traditional kings, and that's sort of a fun little place. So yeah, these are sort of the ideas that are already in place, and places that we can start to put on a map, because we can start to do map making. But first, let's check back in with the stream chat. Velixion. Secret underground market passing sentient animal furs off as non-sentient counterpart. Goodness, Velixion, you are good at creating, like, truly, like, despicably evil factions. Like, a black market. God damn! What in the name of all things? That's so wrong. That's so wrong, and therefore makes for great storytelling. Factions. Black market. Spells sentient animal fur disguised as non-sentient counterparts? Question mark. What a fantastic idea. Humans are passed off as monkey leather. That, yeah, you know, that makes sense. Would be probably not hairy enough, really. But let's, humans skin made into leather. Character. A rabid rabbi rabbit that's chained to a chair while somebody splashes holy water on them while crying into a cup. Archipelago, you meant archipelago. Oh, that's too good. We have to write that in. We have to. Oh, archipelago. This is a joke. This is a joke that I think that a lot of people in this world would make. I think this archipelago thing would be a joke that everybody would make. That is wonderful. My sister loves puns, and she would just adore that. I'll tell that to her in a bit. That's amazing. The rabid rabbi rabbit. I don't know. I don't know. You're talking about, like, holy water waterboarding a rabid rabbit? We could do a character like that. Like a religious, religious zealot, rabid folk who gets waterboarded with holy water. That was in, I don't know if anybody saw the movie with Mark Wahlberg and Chiwetel Ejiofor called Infinite, but there was a scene where Chiwetel's character purposefully gets one of his people to waterboard him so that he can see the face of God. It's a whole thing. But that's kind of what that reminded me of. Yeah, that's a cool character idea. I'll take some of that. Reflectively, you'll love this. Yeah. It's too good. It's too good. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, other races that are at play here. We've got Dreltar, which is a homebrew race. Seraphs, which are also a homebrew race. As our Prianu. But we want, like, obviously we've got elves and orcs here as well. We want to have representation from all of these different races. It's just a matter of where they go, right? So, right, dwarves and dragonborn and halflings. Let me just quickly check something. There we go. Oh, here's the meme. I don't want to adult anymore. I want to go jump around anyone who annoys me. Goats are the best animals. Goats are just the best animals, and I love them. Thank you for the meme. That was wonderful. Building Worlds. Oh, is this Building Worlds called the wrong thing? That's fully my bad. You're going to hear something as I try to figure out how to get away from that for a minute. Stream Manager. Edit Stream Info. This is not Sega Hoshes number 1. This is, number 2. This is Unan number 1. That's my bad. Done. Hell yeah. I was more going for that Resident Evil scene where the church person has their zombie family member tied up, hoping they get better. Oh! Resident Evil 2, the movie, not the game. That's something that, like, Walking Dead does something similar to it. For sure. Oh, so, like, the idea that you would try to treat somebody who had something like, who has some affliction done to them, sort of by pouring holy water on them. You know what? That's a straight up cool idea. I'm gonna stick with what I had put down for this setting, for the moment anyway, just because we're doing more world building than, like, specific, sort of, like, we can talk about demons and possession and all that stuff for sure. And I don't think we're gonna do zombie stuff yet for this. Like, that would be something to introduce as, like, this is an event, this is something that is happening currently. If that makes sense. It's like, this is the setting, we establish the setting, and then within the setting, like, now there's a zombie outbreak, or we establish the setting as, like, now there's a, genetic cull that is happening. We're doing a little bit broader than that currently. Like, that's kind of the idea right now. But it's a great idea. It's a great idea for a story. So thank you very much for sharing that. Carrie, now I want goat folk. So I've seen goat folk in Magic the Gathering. In fact, let me find Zedru the Great-Hearted. Let me grab a picture of Zedru and send that to you, so that I can show you kind of like what this person looks like. Copy image. And I'll throw that in a chat for you. That's Zedru. Zedru on their creature card in Magic the Gathering is described as a Minotaur. And I think that's not a bad description if you don't want to, like, create a new race name for goat folk. I think you should create a new race name for goat folk. Zedru is awesome. Zedru is a great it's a great commander, to be fair. Like, it's really good in game. So we could homebrew a goat folk race, like sort of an offshoot of a Minotaur-esque race, but call it something different. Let's go ahead and do that right now. goat folk, but let's give it like, rabbit folk have Harengon as their name, and the owls have Owlin as their name in D&D. Let's go ahead and get on top of it and do let's do a goat folk. It sounds like I said something rude when I'm saying that. The more I say it, so I'm going to stop saying it and start doing Google Translate. So what I want to do basically right now is get as many different languages take on the word goat as possible, because then we can take some of that phonetic material and we can make it into a name for this character. And it doesn't have to be super complicated, because Owlin is not super character, but Harengon, taking hair and turning that into something something like that for goats would be fantastic. So we want maybe something to do with the word mountain. We can get some of that phonetic material in there, but the word goat as well. So we've got goat, which apparently in Russian is kozel. I'm gonna double check how that's pronounced, so I'm not butchering it more.
Козел.
Geisel.
Козел.
Geisel. So it's kind of sort of phonetically, it's more like Kaisil. Kaisil. Let's look at some other ones. Let's look at Icelandic. Get. That doesn't help us a huge amount. Let's look at Irish. Gabar. Now we're starting to get somewhere. Gabhar is kind of interesting. Irish. What about Scottish Gaelic? Scottish Gaelic. Gobhar. So Gabhar, Gobhar. Let's homebrew this race right now. Let's do Hindi. Bakari. Bakari. I like that. The world's tree is known as Orangi. Its seeds are various unpressed minerals and gems, and the fruit are shaped by numbers. Yes, I just made a random number tree. Velixion, you need to make all of your ideas into one big, chaotic, wonderful world. Agagris? 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 Agagrus. Now, Velixion, was that your idea for like a race name, like a race of sentient like goat folk, or is that like the name of somebody who would be a goat folk, or somebody who would or name of a goat? Because it's a great name. It's a great name, and with your permission, I'll grab it and I'll snatch it and put it in this world somewhere. Cabra. Let's actually do like goats in mythology. Artemis, Agni. Ooh, deities associated with goats. It's not quite mythological caprids. Where's the goat antelope subfamily? What is that? Define caprid. Filters zoology of or pertaining to the subfamily of Caprinae of ruminants, of which goat is the type. Genus Capra is the type to other subfamily. Caprinae. Ooh. Caprid. Let's get that involved in some way. Caprid or Caprinae. Both. The scientific name for goats is Capra. Agagrus circus. Fantastic. I sort of like began to follow certain threads, which led me to a similar place that you were at before. So that's kind of cool. Capra agagrus circus. Goat scientific name Latin. Yeah. Capra. Let's get Capra involved in this. Gabhar. So Cap. Capri. Capar? Capagros? Capri. Oh, Velixion, I will hear you out, and I will Google Translate goat that worships the sun. I will do that. We're getting there. It doesn't ever remember Google Translate. I don't know why it doesn't remember it. Goat that worships the sun. Zonthu. Tsu. I like some of that. What is just... Because we've got goat in these languages. What is just... Grian. Ooh, I like Grian. That kind of works. Cagrian? Cagrion. Ooh, we've got it. We've got it, everybody. Goat folk are going to be named Cagrion. Which is a reference to Capri Sun. Cagrion. Capri Soul. Yeah, I mean we could look up a couple of other. Let's just look at a couple of other ones. Soul, sure, Portuguese, soul. Goat, sun. Sol de cabra. Gieta sol, sure. Griangobhar. I think we did pretty well. Cagrion. Oh, let's go Chinese. Yeah, that's entirely different. So yeah, we got goat folk. We've got Cagrion, who are gonna have sort of like elements of mountain climbing and sure-footedness when we do it mechanically at some point. I will make for people to be able to play, because that sounds like fun. Yeah, 100%. We'll do that. But yeah, for now, Cagrion, great. That was a tangent. Let's get back to the different races that appear here. We've got, obviously we're going to have sort of more exotic Azamar tiefling sort of things. Oh yeah, gnomes and halflings. Let's put dwarves. Gnomes. Halflings. But there's also going to be too many races to think about, really. Owl folk, Aerokokra. We've also got Erzulai, probably would live here. I'm a huge fan of... Oh, right, let's get all of the races from worlds that we already know about. So let's get the Riaran races. So let's get Tritons would live here. We want Sirens who live here. We want Arrowgiri. That's how I spell that. Arrowgiri. Turtles who live here. Sekahashis races. Tabaxi, there they are. We've got GIF, mostly mercenaries. Who would be here? Loxodons. Nagas. Avon. Myconids. Just all these different races. Let me quickly go back and look at Sekahashian races and who lived there, because I'm having a hard time remembering right now. Dampier, that's right. Dampier, Goliaths, Lizard Folk. Dampier, Goliaths, Lizard Folk. Goliath. Lizard Folk. And basically, it's going to be like it's going to be an etc. etc. Sort of deal. Because what we're going to do is we're going to start... Oops. It's my bad. Start off races with all of them. Representation of all races that were common throughout the Esmeran Empire. So actually, it would be easier to say, like, see the exceptions. So let's list some, so let's do including, and then a little colon. And then at the end here, we are going to go, accepting. We know races like Tig would not be here. We know the, like, Gith Zerai, Gith Yankee would not be here. And, you know, if we come up with more examples, we can. Gnomes are often tied up and left on owners' front lawn as ornaments as well as flamingos. You're describing, like, the most brat boyish practical jokes that could possibly be done on worlds like this. I love it. So what we're going to do... Gee whiz! We're gonna character frat boys who tie up gnomes and leave them on people's front lawns as a joke / as part of initiation. Holy hell! What a strong start. Thank you so much for it. City states we know about. Absolutely crazy. Cool. So we have, like, all of these races who have Why would you put frat boys into the universe? Well, you can't take gnomes being tied up in front on people's lawns and not have it at least, like, as a tangential part of a world. And the only way that I see that happening is like, it's below trickster gods for sure, and it's just frat boys. And I feel like those are worthy antagonists for, like, a second level party to deal with frat boys just being destructive and evil. So I hate them, and they're the enemies of a thing now. What have we got here in the chat? Right, just finished work and come back, says Carrie, to start their initiation, and I am concerned. Because the patriarchy is inevitable. It could be sorority girls. It could be, you know what, we're going back. We're going back and saying frat boys Slash soror. How do you even spell sorority? Sorority? Something like that. Sisters. Any of those. Sorority. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, cool. Hate it. Absolutely hate everything about it. Uh, hello and welcome. Zen, I'm gonna say. Um, is that a list of playable races or populating races? For the most part, both is the answer to your question. Um, welcome, and welcome to the chat. The idea being that you could play any race you wanted to. There are a few races on here which are explicitly not playable that are homebrew. Um, so all of the ones that are playable would be on here, which would include obviously rabbit folk, human, Streltar. Seraphs are a league of their own in my canon. They are too strong for players to play them. They have such innate strength that they're much more like enemies in a monster manual, really. And same kind of thing for the Erzuli. It's like they have an automatic few levels of bard and innate powers. So that's the answer to your question. Is the ones that I've highlighted here are the ones that wouldn't be playable. The rest of these would absolutely be playable races on this world, and it's a big old mishmash of all these different things. Tig are also a playable race, homebrewed race. Eventually, I'll put all of these together and do some kind of release for them. Maybe that'd be kind of cool. Carrie, what would be a gender-neutral version of frats and sororities? That's a fantastic question, actually. I have no earthly idea. Gender-neutral fraternity. Sorority. Is there a gender-neutral form for fraternity sorority? How about brotherhood, sisterhood? A siblinghood. Somebody says. Panhellistic. Most co-ed fraternities are called fraternities. Cool. So this looks like it gets really technical, but it looks like yeah, maybe like a siblinghood, or I don't think that panhellenistic is exactly the right phrase, because that's describing like both of them, as opposed to having a gender neutral form. So maybe it's something that hasn't come up, that people haven't invented yet. So yeah, Panhellis. I'm the god of words, and I say it's canon. Panhellis. That's a faction now. That's a faction in this world. And they're called the Panhellions. Forgot the H. Panhellis. Fantastic. Slash soror itty. In this world, it's not dictionary, it's diction carry. That is so sweet. Yes, thank you so much for that. Yeah, diction carry for sure. Neutral nannies. Kenku with Kian mines are kept as audio surveillance. I mean, yeah, Kenku have got to be like, they got to use those skills somehow. Called Panhellis, the god of words. I say it's canon. Unan said non-binary rights. Absolutely. Absolutely. Non-binary rights on this world. I think that this is one of like the most because of the nature of it, because it's so multicultural. I'm like, yeah, like rights for everybody. Absolutely. That Hellet's gender neutral fraternity, slash sorority, uh, whose members are called, um, oh boy, that's not, I don't want to print. Panhellions. They are a scourge. And a menace. But more inclusive, so that's good. It's true, I am Scourge and Menace. Carrie, yes, I was talking specifically about you. This game next week is going to be so much fun. I'm so excited for you guys to just kick some ass. It's going to be great. There are some shipwrights and thugs who deserve to be punched in the face a bunch, and it's going to be amazing. And eventually we will do something with the Panhellions because they need to go down. The Panhellas fraternity sorority Panhellas is amazing, and it's now a thing. Oh, I love all these Pokemon. Can we have a frog species that changes gender? Yes. Yes, we can. I might actually steal them wholesale from the Dosati experiment by Frank Herbert. There's a plot summary. They have the consentiency composed of many species. One, the Trapriciots. Yeah, we don't care about the Trapriciots. George X. McKee. Be receptors, practice the Gawachins. Gawach. Okay, so here's the thing. I have such a soft spot in my heart and soul because my first introduction to frogs, like, I mean, I know that Krogans are kind of like frog lizard people in Mass Effect, but the first like true frog people are the Gawachin Tandalore that appear in Whipping Star and Dosati Experiment, which is our Frank Herbert novels, which are not Dune, which is the one that everyone knows from Frank Herbert. Gawachin are fascinating, and their ideas about law and about and like the way that their society works is fascinating, and such great characters came out of those books that I want to steal those wholesale, but they don't actually change gender, which is a feature of what you wanted to do. So I feel like we got to do something. We got to do another race. We got to do another homebrew race that's a frog race that can change gender for sure. So let's get right in there and do that. Under Kagrian, who are goat folk. Let's do a frog folk. Who can change gender? Because that is solid. That is very, very cool. Jurassic Park, Donna's used frog DNA. Sorry, slow type. No, that's all good. Clownfish also swap gender. Yeah, absolutely. There are a bunch of species. We were talking about this for Alberta and I were talking about this for the sirens of Rayara as well. That certain species, in the overwhelming absence of males, can reproduce asexually, can reproduce without male genetic material being added. So, yeah, species who can change gender are super, super cool. And I feel like that being brought into a more modern discourse about gender being more fluid is really cool and has a very important place potentially. So, go watching the Gawachin are so good. Imagine just being able to change sexes and not having to fork out 7,000 pounds. uh, yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, yeah, it would make life a lot. It would make life a lot simpler and um, maybe even like more straightforward, even for a lot of humans to be able to do that. Or we could try out being everybody else's gender, understand each other better. It'd be a whole thing. It'd be kind of cool. I'm all about perspective. Cost up to 5K. Wow, that's a lot of money for that procedure. Holy crap! It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Like our generation being expected to do stuff, minimum wage, entry level jobs, and all of these things. Raising that kind of money is hell, especially when they're charging this much for housing and just the cost of living and stuff. This is absolutely insane. Yes, Felixton, you were saying last time that you were in America. That's socialized healthcare is the only thing that makes sense. It's the only thing that makes sense. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for the way that your country deals with that system. It's one of the most unethical things that exists, actually, in my opinion. If you've got a democracy, it's like dystopian fiction over there. So I apologize for the way that your country deals with uh, that in general. It is morally, ethically, entirely wrong, and needs to stop. People should look after each other. Social healthcare, free healthcare for people. That's the way. Okay. Continuing. We've got frog folk. Let's do the same thing we did before. Google Translate. Nope. Nope. Frog. Actually, let's look up the scientific name of frog, because that's what frog scientific name is Anura. Rana temporaria. The common frog is Rana temporaria. Amphibia, the order Anura, family Ranidae, and the genus Rana. Ranidae. Common frogs are considered true frogs, like true clowns, etc. Joshua MacGregor 2024. Oh, Carrie, you threaten me with political office. I don't want anything to do with that. I'm also not an American citizen, so I can't run. I was not born in America. I don't have American citizenship, so I can't run in the States, which is a shame. Because I mean they've got AOC, right? Why do they not just run AOC um and you get like the first female president, as well as one of the most ethically, morally sound, ferociously good, fighting for the rights of people against the insanity of the Republican Party, human beings that you could possibly ever get. I think AOC is the future, and she deserves to be the president. Dang, you from Canada. I am from Canada. And I could have the citizenship if I gave up one of the two I already have, specifically the British one. They don't let you be a British citizen if you want to be an American. Did you know that? That's kind of a bull, I call. They don't. Yeah, it's a leftover thing from the colonial war. The War of Independence is like, nah, you're British. We don't let you be American. At least that's what or maybe it was just that I could only claim one of my parents' citizenships, and so I chose to claim the UK citizenship instead of my dad's American citizenship. Can't remember what it was. Um, but I know that in some context the Americans were like, no, and it was the Americans who had a problem with it, rather than the English. Like, I think if I'd claimed my father's American citizenship, if Americans didn't have a problem with it, I could then have claimed my mother's UK citizenship as well. But um, but they had an issue with it. So I think that's what it was. Josh is greedy and is eligible for 3 citizenships. I got 2 parents from 2 different countries who then got together in one in a country. A third country, and I was born there. So yeah, I'm greedy. Have you tried genetics? And circumstance and privilege? Well, no wonder you can't get multiple citizenships. Yeah. Snobbery. What snobbery from the Brits? That's not surprising. I think most countries only allow 2 citizenships. Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true. Um, yeah, because we want to get to a place where we're like citizens of the world, and you can say that you belong to a few different places, but people don't. People's got antiquated nationalist ideas. Refuse to acknowledge the world is becoming more global. So, for the moment, we got to deal with that. Absolutely. Oh, there's stuff going on Facebook. I gotta look at it. There's so little world building happening. I'm having the best time ever, but I'm gonna have to start doing more of these, I think, because we're not getting anywhere near done on what I wanted to get done. It's fine. Like I said this in a session the other week. I was like, there's too much dicking around that happened to get to the end of what I had planned, and I knew when I said that I was saying it wrong, and I'm saying it wrong now. It's like there's too much dicking around to get done what I set out to get done. What I mean is I'm having such a ball going on these tangents, and um and we were having such a ball in the game and getting into like the real details of all these like juicy character things that we didn't end up getting to like the conflict that was planned for the session. We made it a 3-shot, but it was totally worth it. It was wonderful to get that detail and to get people like properly interacting with NPCs that you spend a lot of time creating as a DM. Was so much fun, was so good, and getting to torture players is super fun. Uh, um, Look, I'm sorry, we're funny. You guys are funny, and you deserve to have like those pranks, and the bartender mixing up stuff and figuring out different ways of getting the information you needed, and interacting with Alexa and all of that stuff. Was absolutely fantastic. So no regrets. This streaming session may not get a lot done in terms of like what we set out to do, but it could be a fantastic like conversation, which is super fun. It was great. Once everyone start cracking the whip. Listen, if we had all sat down and been like, right, we have to get to like, we're all telling this story and we want to get to this place by the end of the thing. We hadn't done that. We were having fun. It's a very casual sort of game. And that's what we're doing now is we're letting it be a little bit more casual. So Rana Temporaria. Rana Temporaria. His thing, Anura. I like Anura a lot, actually. It sounds a little bit too much like Anaran now that I'm thinking about it. Anaran Assembly. Ranidai. Sorry, Village, I think I missed a message of yours where you talked about poison darts. Can we give the frogs poison unarmed melee? Absolutely. Absolutely, we can give the frogs poison darts. In fact, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over here. We're gonna go into D&D. We're gonna go into homebrew. We're gonna get our races homebrew open. We're just gonna create the space. Insert 2 rows below. We've got what do we call them again? We just made them again. Kagrian. Does it feel better without the H? The Kagrian. Yes, it does look better without the H. So we're going to call them Cagrian as the goat folk. Boom, 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 racist homebrew. Cagrian. Gold folk. And then we could start to do mechanical stuff. And then we're going to have frog folk. And we're going to have poison. Poison unarmed melee. As an idea. And the chat box just said, must be kept moist. And Carrie Jomo has responded appropriately with outraged small dragon dinosaur Pokemon. Which it's the one that becomes the Garchomp, right? What's the first evolution of that? Gibble! That's right. It sounds like Nibble. Yes, Gibble something, and then Garchomp. Garchomp is one of my favorite Gen 4 Pokemon of all time. A ground dragon with like scythe arms? Are you kidding? So cool! So yeah. Poison unarmed melee we can do. Me trying to keep this on the rails is insane. It absolutely will not happen, and I understand that. Salientia. And you know what? We're gonna put a little nod to the Gawachin. Oh, it's like their shit. God damn it, Frank, you're good. Gawachin. That's my cue to leave the room and go get tea. Choice for good Gen 4 Pokemon. Oh, you're throwing down on Gen 4. That's fine. That's totally fine. Gen 4 was a bit of a mess. It was a mixed bag. It was a mixed bag, Gen 4. We're looking up Gen 4 Pokemon so that I can Gen 4 Pokemon. Infernape was pretty cool, right? Empoleon was pretty cool. Torterra, I think, is better in concept than execution. Bidoof is a meme. Luxray is pretty good, right? The dinosaurs weren't that great, in my opinion, but weren't fantastic. Fucking Lopunny. That's such a terrible... No. Yeah, you're right. There's not a huge amount in here. Garchomp. Abomasnow. I liked the concept of Abomasnow, and they gave us Magnezone, which was important. Rhyperior, which I appreciated. The extra evolutions of Magmortar and Electivire. The third evolutions that were missing from a lot of those. Togekiss, I could do it with or without. That's fine. Glysaur's pretty cool. Dusk Noir. I love Dusk Noir. It's a great character. Pokemon, rather. I keep saying character because we were talking about D&D a minute ago. And then the legendaries. Okay, so yes, you're right. There aren't a lot of good Gen 4 Pokemon, I think, is the point. There are a lot of the third evolutions I appreciated. Garchomp I appreciated. And Luxray, as well as the starters, I thought were pretty good. So there. Oh my god, Josh, write some lore. I will write some lore. Let me get a name for these frogs. Let me get a name for these frogs, and then we'll get there. Frostcore. You know what? We've got enough with the Galactron and all of that stuff to come up with a name for frog folk. So let's... Rana... Rowacha? A Rowachan? The Rowachan. It's exactly like Goachin with an R at the beginning. Can't do it. Um, they did Pokemon contests, and there was like beauty coolness. That's true. They did do that. Don't be sorry. Yeah, absolutely. Was that introduced Gen 3? Was that a Hoenn thing? Can't even remember. Have you considered a more generic race with several sub races with toad folk, poison frog folk, bullfrog folk? That's what a fantastic idea. That being sort of a like a catch-all. Thank you, Zen. That's a great idea. Let's throw that on the thing. Um Frog folk, many sub races. Yeah, toads, poison frogs, uh, bullfrogs. Uh, yeah, that's a fantastic idea. Thank you, Zen. I think you've just solved something actually in that. So there's sort of like a catch-all name, and then they're gonna have different names for the different sub races, much like Drow for elves. So let's uh the Rawana. Josh, I have to ask, do their babies look like tiny little tadpoles? Their babies would have to look like tiny little tadpoles, Alberta. Um, I'm sorry that you can't handle it, but if they were all swallowed up, it would be very cute. I think they would have to stay in pools, though, because of the way that frogs work. Uh, Frogs spend the first X years of their life as tadpoles. Yeah, 100%. There's a metamorphosis thing that they go through. They grow legs and stuff. Yeah, 100%. 100%. 100%. I think Rowana, Roagach. Ranagach. Hmm. Goliath. Gotch. The Gotchin. And then a subverse would be, for example, Ranagach. The Gotchin. That feels solid. Frogfolk are called Gotchin. I'm playing a Gotchin, a Frogfolk. And then you can do, oh my goodness, we've got so much in here. It's going to be amazing. Oh my God, I can't deal. I'm going to cry. Alberta. Yeah, little baby tadpoles. Bad news, frogs are very cannibalistic. That is true, and that's a huge part of the Gawachin in like of Tandalore in Frank Herbert's books, is that the male parent frogs of the Gawachin do a thing where they like do like a feeding frenzy on their own babies, and so there's like the ones who survive are the ones who grow up, and it's a whole God, it's a whole thing, and it's a whole thing, and we might have to just change that. We might have to just go like frog folk aren't cannibalistic. Ta-da! We've changed it. It's a fantasy world. Because, first of all, Alberto couldn't handle it, but then also I would feel terrible. But the Gotchin. Yeah. Zen, I was thinking, actually, about it with Aarakocra and Owlfolk. Yes, I've been thinking about this as well. Sort of like with Avon, Aarakocra, and Owlfolk. All these, like, flying races. You could do the same thing with owl, vultures, songbirds. It creates variety and adds some evolutionary world building as you place various sub-races. I absolutely love that idea. Thank you so much again for that, Zen. Let's throw racist homebrew. Let's do like Aarakocra sub race flamingo vulture songbird etc. That's a great. I've seen actually in Pirates of Leviathan, which is the Dimension 20 series, Marisha Ray plays a character who is a like parrot themed Aarakocra, and it works really, really well, even just flavorfully being like the Aarakocra is now sort of parrot themed, and she has those like classic pirate parrot pet colors. Wow, that's very alliterative. Frog folks eat their parents from the inside out. And that's an idea. I don't know that we need to go there, Velixion. I don't think we need to go there. This is such a tangent. We're so far off course. I think that Frogfolk is a great idea, and we're definitely going to go down that route, but we're talking about Unan, damn it! We're not talking about these other things. We gotta do more about Unan! I love this, though. Just interacting with chat is so much fun. I thought of the idea that Kenku are actually a raven-based sub-race of Aarakocra. That's a great idea. That is just a great idea. Yeah, I think absolutely implement that in your worlds, and in your games. Because Kenku felt like have a really interesting place, I think, insofar as they're like mimicry, which is often the place of different birds other than sort of like raven or blackbirds. Yeah, Kenku are fantastic. Okay, so we've got Kagrian and we've got Gachin as just new races that have come out of chat, which is really, really fantastic. Unan was not created by an anonymous god, actually, Velixion. This is part of the mythology of this world, is that Unan was an uninhabited but inhabitable world with the right conditions on it for life without having developed it yet. Then the Asmarans came and seeded life on Unan and brought humans there during their scattering from their first world called When. Then came the Empire and its trade and the Unarl Gates and the trade they brought. Actually, before that, called When. And the god Soligar raised for the humans a city unparalleled in its splendor, that they might live there and find sanctuary within its walls. Ignaculus. Then came the Empire, and the Unan Gates and the trade they brought. And eventually, Unan became a home to all throughout Ignaculus. So that's kind of the origin mythology of this world. It's a very new world. This world is not even 5,000 years old. Obviously, like the rock and soil is older than that, but life has only been on this world for a few thousand years. So that's the origin of Elixir. Thank you very much for the prompt. Just step away for a while. Hopefully we'll be back. Thank you so much for joining, Zen. Hope that you come back as well and see some of the stuff we're making. Eventually we will get to the maps, because the maps I care about a huge amount for Unan, because I have no idea what the maps will look like. All I know is this world in its relationship to other ones. In relationship to Esmera and Rayara and Muranar and all of these other worlds. So central conflict, reclaiming this site of religious importance is incredibly high on the Dahiri Empire's list of priorities, and it is trying through subtle means to take control back. And then we'll put in brackets, especially of Epacriel. It's a big deal. It's a big old deal. This world, it's probably got a lot of materials and what have you on there. So we've got regions. Monsters we're not going to really talk about for a moment. Obviously the factions at play are the Dahiri Empire, the Assembly. So let's just go ahead and put them on there, just so they're covered. Dahiri Empire, Aran, Assembly, current world state. Kind of already talked about that in the central conflicts part. We've got the history. And so very much for this world, 1 EE, Empire's World, the Old King reigns, Soligar, no, not Soligar, just the Esmerans seed life on Unan. Year 400, offers people like a Hashas. Ooh, that's for a different part of the thing. I think that it would be shortly thereafter. Seed life on Unan. Give it 10 years. So let's say the year 10 EE. Humanity arrives on Unan, and Soligar raises the city of Epacriel for them. Ta-da! Saved. It's Google Docs. I don't need to hit Control Save. That is all good. Just have a quick peek over here. Make sure everything's going well. Got that's coming to an end. That's fine. Now, if they don't have an amazing climbing skill, I'm mad. Kieran, that's amazing. My second Hidden Realms character confirmed. Ooh, Carrie. Gonna be playing a Kagrian. That's amazing. Yeah. I will homebrew what those abilities actually are and send that to you at some point. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay. That is good to know. It's been so long since I went on that page. Right. Let's go over to the map. Let's do a little bit of map work, shall we? I'd like to do a little bit of map work. Map work is a little bit relaxing and fun. This has been wild. This has been 2 hours of wildness. Who knows what this is going to look like on YouTube? Okay, so with this, I want to be very clear. Like, with a lot of these, I've done like specific archipelagos or like one central continent, blah, blah, blah. No, 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 no. We want lots of continents. We want them to look very different. We want their environments to not necessarily be, incredibly different, but encapsulate a variety of environs that people would inhabit. Potentially would be stepping into would have broken into different nations after the God War, and how's that changed. So these are all questions. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get really tight actually and I'm just gonna go over to different areas of the map, and we're gonna do continents. We're gonna not even like islands and stuff. We're gonna get we are gonna get really like yeah. Undo that. So let's just go over. We don't have like a central continent on Earth. We've got a bunch of different things. So let's just go over here and start. Let's just start and let's make that smaller. And we're gonna say that like, these land masses are gonna be absolutely massive. So. I could make this a little bit bigger. Beep 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 boo. I try to make interesting shapes. I don't know. That's Australia, isn't it? That's just Australia. Let's not do Australia. Let's make it a little bit more unique. Expand it out a little bit. Yeah. So let's keep it going like this. And we could do sort of like tectonic lines, because of course we could. We could talk about moons as well. Oh yeah, that's huge continent wise. Let's fit screen. That's an enormous continent. Yeah, so we've got that continent. Let's go over here and make a continent up here. Let's make this one big ol' circle. Boop, boop, boo. Let's just make it a big old egg. And, ooh, and we've got lakes and stuff in there that we hadn't filled in. That's kind of interesting, actually. Yeah. Let's go back to adding. Make it a little bit less even. Make more adding. Let's carve out of it a little bit more. Let's take that. Ooh, that looks kind of cool actually. Yeah, let's do a little bit of that work. This broken continent over here. Breaking up. Kind of get that feeling, that vibe. But that's a continent in and of itself. That's a big one. It's a big old egg of a continent. Let's just take out this little bit over here. Let's just take it right out. I realize this isn't that's how you do maps. Yes, Carrie, you haven't been here when we've been doing maps. Well, I mean, they've been different. they've been different kinds of maps, but I've been playing with more and more with Incarnate's thing for making maps, and it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. And the maps come out super clean. Otherwise, like what I had been doing was doing maps longhand, which I really enjoy as well. And I like writing longhand. I like doing maps and drawing maps longhand. But oops, not notes. It's not what I was trying to go for. I was just trying to save. But yeah, this is where we're gonna make some full continents with Incarnate, and it's great. I really appreciate. I recommend it. It's good. At some point, I should do Pro and figure out all of the features that it's got. But for this free version's fine. B says, "Sup, Josh? Hello, B. Fantastic. I also say sup, because I'm cool and my voice didn't raise a couple of octaves and then break just a second ago. Hi. I hope you're well. Sending lots and lots of joy and good wishes and good vibes your way. So there. Sup. Okay, let's keep going. So if we were going from sort of tectonic shifting, maybe there's a divide like along this section, breaking apart that way. Maybe. Do we care? We don't have to care. That's the other thing that is true. Tectonic divide. Because these are continental, let's make this more solid as a land mass. Let's fill in some of those gaps that I made intentionally. That feels more continental. That feels a little bit better. Should we do... Yeah, let's do a little thing where there's like a tiny strip of land, like a truly minuscule strip of land that connects two continents. And then hit the screen, and then go down, and let's make a continent down here that's connected. Sort of like North-South America kind of deal. I realize you listening to little background music and then me whistling whatever the hell I was whistling just now. I don't even remember what it was. Might be a little jarring, so I'm going to stop doing that. But that's certainly an idea. There. Back down. Oh yeah. It always fills up so much quicker than you realize it's going to. Yeah, let's make another continent over here. Didn't zoom in properly. There we go. Don't want it to be like a shoe, even though that's exactly what I just drew. You know when you just draw the thing you don't want to be making? And you're like, why did you do that? I'm like, I don't know. I just made the shoe pointier. Just undo that. Maybe I can subtract some of this. Leave a couple islands. That's probably fine. Trying not to make it look like a triangle in the bottom corner, even though that's exactly what it is. So let's just give it another go. Let's just try again. Let's try something different. This part I feel like I'm not chatting as much for this. That's just kind of what this entails. So I'm gonna let myself off the hook here a little bit. If it helps, I can barely hear the music, so your singing is fine. Hooray! That's kind of the level that I wanted it to be at. Maybe I'll turn it up 1 decibel. That's more than 1 decibel. There we go. Also, watching him make these maps looks like it would feel very godlike. Like, I made this line and BAM! I made life! It's exactly what it feels like, Carrie. You're absolutely right. That's what building worlds in general feels like. It's like, I have decided a thing, and now it is true. Now this thing that I have decided is reality. And there's nothing more satisfying than being like, I have created a world and I am a god, and then getting to share that with other people, especially like, in a D&D context where people have so much like authority over their own free will and character choices, and you being like, I've made everything the way it is, and life exists because I allow it to exist. And then somebody being like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. And you're like, you did that in a place that I made. It's so satisfying. So basically, I'm a megalomaniac god, and I'm a megalomaniacal god. And I've got a god complex, absolutely. I'm the center of the universe. Um, but I feel like the gods make places for people. Um, that's my piece of insight about gods, if you were interested. Oh, lordy lord. We have fun. We have fun. Let's turn that up a bit. That's a landmass. Sure. The fact that everybody has tea makes me very happy. That's really, really nice. I don't have tea, for the reason that by the time we get to this point in the stream where I would want tea after dinner and what have you, tea would be cold. And I don't want to leave the stream to get tea. But, yeah, cheers, everybody. I got my water. Cheers, clink. Josh, go make tea. I don't want to leave you with the stream while I go make tea. I want to be using this time constructively, but I'll make tea after the stream's done in an hour and 20 minutes. I'll go make tea. That's funny. That's funny. Next time you see me, like over a Zoom call, you will not be part of our club if you don't. Guys, I'm being bullied into making tea by the chat, and I love it, and I'm gonna cave. So I'm just letting you know that that's going to happen. Bear folk need to happen in D&D as well. And I know we have lycanthrope, ursine bears. We need bear folk in D&D. That's the next thing. Wizards of the Coast, if you could get on that, that would be great. I'm making another continent here, and then I want to be part of this club so badly, this tea club, and I want to play it cool and be like, I don't give a shit about your club. But the truth is that I do give a shit, and I desperately want to be a part of it. So I'm just gonna make a couple more continents on this world map because that seems like a fun procrastinatory thing that I can do. Before I head out and make tea. We're going to make tea, we'll entertain ourselves. I know you can and will. I'm gonna go make tea. I'm turning off all the sound from my mic. Enjoy, and I'm going to turn up the music. For anybody who's interested, the music is from Ghost of Tsushima, which is a video game that I played recently and got it myself for Christmas, and it was really, really good, and I highly recommend it. So here's the music is coming up in volume. You can entertain yourselves and chat in the chat. What on earth has happened? Gary, you didn't. Are those Persians doing that? Just doing bongo time? Or well, I don't know what that. I don't know which. If that is a Pokemon, it's just a cat with a bindi. Um, that's hilarious. Bumper has gone to warm up routine. Fantastic. But you will note that I now have. It's it's an Alolan Persian. I was wondering because I was like, it looks like a Persian, but it looks a little different from a Persian. So I guess my skills are pretty good. I've got tea. I'm part of the club, so I can join the club now. Uh, it's a Winchester breakfast, and it's an enormous. You can see how big this mug is. It's an enormous mug that says Toronto on it. Gary's bongo playing was amazing. Yeah, absolutely. It is amazing. It continues to be amazing even as it goes further and further up the chat. Incredible. So we're currently looking at 7 major continents. I'm going to make another one because that will be the same continent there. We want it to sort of feel like it would fit, and then be its own thing, fill that in, and subtract some space from it in that direction. And make that a little bit more seamless. Yeah. Okay. So now we've got a world map of Unan. Question you had, Carrie. If it is a new world, IRC, don't know what that stands for, would the continents be close together? Because tectonic plates and things. So you're talking about like a Pangea-esque thing. The way that I had it in my head was that the tectonic plates are sort of like shifting on this diagonal line like this, so the continents are splitting apart on sort of that level. And even on Earth, tectonic activity has always been like everything like comes back together into like a Pangea-esque supercontinent and then breaks apart and then comes back together and then breaks apart again over the course of the history of Earth. And the idea is very much that this planet was around and the Asmerians discovered the planet and then seeded life on it. So it would be like a Class M planet, conditions suitable for life, but if no life had actually developed yet. Sort of a Star Trek reference there, is the idea that I had in my head. So the tectonic shifting, like it's not a new planet insofar as the Asmerians didn't make it from scratch. They did find it. So yeah, that's the thinking in my head. But if it was, if it was a brand new planet and they sort of raised one supercontinent out of the ocean, then that would make a huge amount of sense. But thank you. If I remember correctly, is what. Thank you so much for explaining that. I people have been using those like shorthands since high school, like or before high school, like messaging and all of that stuff, and I just never learned most of them. you know, I'm still at a place where I'm like, I know what WTF stands for. Ha ha ha. So this is a real education for me. Slash HJ is half joking and IRC if I remember correctly. Um, you know, think I'm just reading through all of your messages as they came through. Feel free to completely retcon physics. I do feel free to freely retcon physics. Thank you very kindly, and especially since magic, like just since magic is a thing that exists, retconning stuff feels the way the world should work feels very natural. It's like it's fantasy. We can make shit up. Um, so we could make up anything, but I just we have a different explanation. So that's kind of what we're going for here. I remembered something, and I want to make sure that we didn't mess up with our new race of Gotchin frog folk, which is that Grung are a thing. Grung are in the monster manual, and yeah, so they're here. Grungs are an aggressive frog-like humanoids that D&D have published for a while. Forests and tropical rain jungles. They are fiercely territorial and see themselves as superior to most other creatures. Grung society is a caste system. They have a hatching pool. They have like colors, and their tribes warriors, and maintenance cast for life. Size. They're small, amphibious. They have poison skin, poison immunity, standing leap, water dependency, so they have to remain moist, exactly like what you were saying. What Velixion was saying. So there is a Grung race in D&D. I feel like what we've made is cooler than that. I feel like the Gotchin are more fun than the Grung, and they can be different, and they can be different things. So there. To be fair, tone indicators have only gained popularity in the last year or so. I can send a graph if it helps. Just use them because I means herbal reading tons of text. Thank you. I would really appreciate having a graph and what have you. Tone indicators. Yeah, I have always been pretty bad at reading tone through text, especially when jokes are concerned. So we have that in common, and if there is a graph, that would be great. That way, I would be able to read your tone indicators when you use them in text. That sounds great. Thank you very much. I'm gonna have some of my tea now. Grungs. Yeah, I remembered Grungs after I left to go make my tea. I was like, yeah, aren't we do have frog-like people. I know that Slod are kind of froggy, but they're aberrations, right? They're from the limbo or something. Frogs, Slod are crazy. But yeah, grungs are a thing, but they are specific to rainforests and tropical jungles and things, whereas ours could be from anywhere. The Gotchin of frog folk could be from anywhere, actually. Uh, so, Gotchin are still the better. This is what we'll decide there. Okay, so we have continents. We have 7 this is a huge planet. I want this planet to be absolutely massive. And we can start actually putting things open catalog. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put the world name. We don't need this thing to be this big though. That feels big enough. And then we've got text. Text. the text says Unan, and we make the text bigger. And we shift it down so that it fits. Beautiful. So this is the world of Unan. Let's get some more of these things. Open catalog. Let's get one of these. Make it less big. And put it over here. And make it less big. Boop. Put it over here. Can put it under here. We could. Down here. Here's probably the best place for it. Cool. Now we can make boof, text, 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 text. So these are our continents. We have Unan, text, 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 text. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 continents on this planet. How many do we have? Europe, Asia, Australia, North and South America. 5 continents? Is that what we've got? This is going to be an embarrassing Google search. List of Earth continents. Seven continents. Oh, Africa. Oh, that feels really bad. Oh, no. Oh, I did not just do that. I am so sorry. North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, and Antarctica. Oh. Gotta hang my head in shame. That's rough. Okay, 8 continents on Unan. Let's move away from that moment that's been recorded and will live on the internet forever. Okay. Regions. Right, we do have to do Sekra Nagol on the world map. Right, so let's find an area that would work well to have an archipelago of islands. And add those to the map, because remember we said that there had to be an archipelago at like somewhere in the midst of this madness, and I feel like around here would be a good place to do that, simply because there seems to be like there are a couple of islands here. There might be some here as well. So what if we just did this one? Oops, we're on the subtract and not the. We did that. Oh, need to be smaller, I think. 8. And let's scroll right the way in there. We want this to be as small as physically possible. This archipelago, those are spaced pretty close together. Yeah, that feels right. I'm gonna move a couple of them a little bit further north and take out maybe that's not the right one to take out. I don't like that one. I don't like that one. I don't even like that insofar as that goes, but another one there. Another one closer to like that, and something a bit more like, there we go. That's the Red Isles. Oops. But Red Isles is going to be in brackets because the real name was, what was it? Chakra Nagol. Chakra Nagol. We can make that a lot smaller, and then we can move it. Move it right on there. Chakra Nagol, Red Isles. And then fit to screen. Okay, So you start to get an idea for the scale of this planet. Man, those are like that's continent size though. That's the size of Indonesia. We gotta switch that up a little bit because we want that to be not quite as large. Pardon me. This feels like a good area for those to be in, to live in. I want all of this. Oh, I liked that actually. I want all of this gone. I want this gone. Mostly. That. Add again. I want this like to be the smallest amount physically possible here. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's as much as you get. Shekranagol, the Red Isles. Hit the screen. Amazing. And now we can found it and DM'd you. Ooh, might send to the group chat actually. That sounds great. Sorry, one sec. I'm having a thing with one of my displays, or it's just saying OSD lockout for no earthly reason that I can tell. So let's have a look at what you sent. I'm interested in that. Oh, yeah, you did send it to the group chat. So I figure uses a lot. Future reference. Sarcastic, joking, half joking. Okay, I'll look at these properly post stream. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. This makes a huge amount of sense. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, Carrie. 8 continents on Earth if you count Atlantis, which I do. 100%. 100%. Just gotta find it. That's the next thing. Just gotta find it. And then take the tech at the bottom of the ocean. We gotta take that tech. It's probably just nuclear bombs anyway, and we'll use it to nothing. The whole point is like, don't use the weapons, don't piss off the gods, right? Good stuff. Really good stuff, actually. Good tea. I don't know where we were. Where were we? Yes, continent names. Well, first I think we need to determine where Epacriel was. Or is. You know, where it would be rebuilt. Because Epacriel's the big deal of this world. For sure. Go 10. Let's just grab the default one. That sounds good. Would it be close to the Red Isles? I think the Red Isles were a problem for them originally. Because there's a story about how Aranor separated the Red Isles from the land, kept it far away. We're going to ignore that. Yay! Happy dolphins! Yep. Let's talk about a river that runs nearby the Halsa. Runs near and south are the lawless lands, which I know anyway. So, do we make it that this central continent, Or do we make it this continent over here? That's an idea. Yeah, that would be kind of interesting. Maybe? I'm having trouble deciding where the bulk of this should be. I kind of like that. Yeah, let's do it. Let's put it over here. So this symbol, we can make it a little smaller. And let's say that it was pretty high up. Let's put it there. That is Epacrial. It's a big deal, but not that big a deal. It's the name of the continent. We will figure it out. This has got to be. It's got to be so much smaller, right? It's got to be like that's the size of a city. Yeah. That text we will give the name of the continent. What are good continent names? Well, we've got the ones we've got, right? We've got America, Africa, Australia, Asia, Euro. EAs seem to be in. Or continent. Well, let's see if the internet's got like a fantasy continent generator. Not a name generator. Continent names. Fantasy name generators. I love this thing. Toyota. Almost immediately the thing is like, yeah, Toyota. Let's find out what's the. We'll do the Google Translate thing. What center feels like, but say Haprios, Haprios, something. Etruria might be something. Ocorus. Eusidus. Eusidus is interesting. Iazid. Wepagun. Slew. Kaphion. Okay. I just like using Q's. That's cool. Pliazioth. That's an idea. That's something. Chianokun. Tavros. There's a reason that the people put those together all the time. Tamriel and all these things. Agos. Voss. I like Voss. It's a phonetic thing that lives in my mouth. Voss. Oduth. Okay, and now let's go back to the translate, because I love this thing. Mioja.
Mia.
Muya.
Mia.
Muya. Muya. Something interesting. Ayanad. Ion Vos. We've got one. We're not leaving until we've got enough. So Ion Vos is one. Let's try to get a few different things in here. Central. It's something, anyway. Let's go Vietnamese. Trung Tam. Trung.
Trung tâm.
Chung. Tam. Tamazia. That's our second continent. Tamazia. Yeah, let's go Ukraine. Center? Center. Hebrew. Oh, I don't want to copy it. I keep going to Hebrew being like, maybe they'll tell me how to pronounce it.
Kedro.
Ocoris Kiedro. Okied. Okied. Kiedro. Okied. That's gonna be one. What are some, obviously Taldore and all the ones from Critical Role. Umia's got continent. Exandria as the world. Questions, friends. Do any of these remind me of anything? In shape, not really. Not of important that they didn't. Something interesting. Golia. Why not Golia? Golia. Goal. Gall. Like a gall. Like, you have the gall to do that. People have gall. Gallians. Just the continent of Gaul. That is a moment of inspiration from the Muse. Thank you, Muse. We appreciate it. That's 4. That's half. Let's start to throw them on here. This one is the continent of Gaul. This one is the continent of Ion Voss. No, this one is Ion Voss, because I like Ion Voss a lot. This is Tamazia. Okied. This one is Okied. Ion Voss. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 more. The level of detail that we could get with this world is maddening. It's fantastic. Because all of these are the continents. And then we can go, like, what we're going to do with this, we're going to name the continents, and then we're going to go to Ion Voss. And we're just going to talk, like, all of the ideas that I've got in my head are for Ion Voss, for goodness sake. Let's go to the paintbrush. This is kind of a... brown, I know. I know. It's the best we've got. Shakranao. Opacity. It's interesting. Oh, wait, go back. Nope. Cancel. Exit that. Texture, color. Yeah, pro. Fine. We'll get there. We'll get there. Triangle. You know what? Let's just undo the last few things we did. We'll get there. Do something else. Text. What else have we not used? Quayoff? Chaos. Keoth? Because it could be spelled like key, as in like an ocean key. And then people could be like, is it Quay? Is it key? I like that, actually. That's kind of fun. Let's call it this one. Continent of Chaos. And that's just a fun little tie-in being like, chaos? Sounds like it, but it's chaos. So that's fun. Then we come to... I mean, I could be a real dickhead here and just say, like North America and South America, it could be North Tamazia and South Tamazia, which are different continents, but I don't like that. I don't like that. I'm just gonna look up one thing on my phone here. Oops. Tab. West Side Story cast is not what I was looking for. Looking for a new tab. And what do we got here? Okay. Center. What are the languages we got here? Arcans. Central. About home. Tuis. Tuis.
Thais.
Thais. Kern.
Cairn. Magnifique.
Magnifique. Magburo on ya. Magburo. You use the loose. Baruz. Abaruz. Abaruzu. Abaruzu? Abaruzi. Abaruza. Abaruza. I like Abaruza. Let's do that. Abaruza. Two more. And we've got all of the continents of this world. Ooh, I mean, we could do something. I want to do like a cheeky nod to Atlantis without doing Atlantis. So like Talan, using those phonetics pieces, you know? Taladuz. Talaros. Talaros? Atlantis. Talaros. Talaris? Talaris. Continent of Talaris. That's got like a phonetic sort of jumbled something might ring in the back of someone's head. Plot twist, Atlantis is actually the Red Islands, and it fell off the Earth and sank beneath the waves of Earth and transported to this world. That's an idea. I actually have sort of done something like that on the world. Well, we will get to a stream for a world that I have already created called Volpicar, but Volpicar, which is connected to Cygalia, which is one of the things I've made. There were orcs who fled there from Unan during the God War and settled on the Carmine Isles because, of course, why wouldn't you make the Carmine Isles as your new home? And they then threw themselves into a pocket dimension, and that was their like Atlantean moment where the islands disappeared, kind of thing. Or they disappeared from the island. There's sort of like there are Atlantean sort of vibes involved. Also, I've got an island called Soloway, which just appears on random worlds, and I'm super proud of Soloway. It's definitely not run by a Rakshasa. It just like mists appear in the middle of nowhere. And Soloway appears. Definitely not a Rakshasa's secret magical island that could just appear anywhere. I downed that tea. I needed it so much. So thank you, Bridget. Thank you. Oh, oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. It's so good. It's so good. Slowly, slowly. Mm. Now the only thing that my brain wants to produce, like I know the tune that you're referring to, that you're doing, but now the only thing my brain wants to do is the Adventure Time theme music. Come sail away with me, and the butterflies and bees. I've had Adventure Time in my head for the last few days, and I think I need to rewatch bits of it because it's just been like nagging at my brain. There's so much really excellent storytelling that goes on in that show, or that went on in that show before it died. The show died after 10 seasons and lived a long and glorious life. One more. Oh, that makes me so happy. At some point, B, we've got to like at least in passing see one another on like a Zoom call. Uh because last time you were absolutely hilarious when families were sort of talking, and then in person. I've said this in private, but I'm more than happy to say this here. You're one of the like you are the smartest person in any room you walk into, and it's amazing. And I need more of that. It's awesome. Mm. Leslie said, "I need to make me Alberta. I will put it on at some point, and you will and you will watch it for sure. It's great. Um, Makes me so happy, B, that you know and care for Adventure Time enough to say that. That's awesome. Finally started watching it recently. You just finished season one. Start to continue. Season one is actually the weakest that the show gets. It's got like a slow start, so there's a lot more to come, and it's fantastic. It's so good. So welcome to the Adventure Time fandom. I'm trying to remember what happened in season one. You did have the Lich in season one, yeah. Um, there was sort of the Endymion and Endomicron. There's like a magic book, and there's a story with that. Finn and Jake were being heroes and stuff. Yeah, it's which? The United States, you say. I declare, I love Adventure Time. Isn't it good? It's a good show. It's a really good show. Uh, which? The Lich, Carrie. The Lich, as in like a D&D Lich. There are so many nods to D&D in Adventure Time, and it's great. But yeah, they have the Lich, who is far more than a simple D&D Lich in Adventure Time, as a character that shows up. Maybe the Lich doesn't show up until season 2. I had thought the Lich showed up in season 1, but I could be wrong. As big evil skeleton, saggy flesh, horns, evil, wants to destroy everything in the world kind of character. Haven't met her yet if I haven't recognized her. I believe that the Lich is male oriented. It's more of a force of death than it is a gendered like person. Let me quick show you the Lich Adventure Time episode. The Lich Adventure Time wiki. We'll get to pictures of the Lich in a second. I want to see first appearance. Where appearance? Lord Crown. I know. Yeah, I know. Lich. Adventure time. First appearance. His hero. Is in his hero. I think here's a great Billy. Which episode is that? His hero. Season 1, episode 25. Yes, so this is the Lich. No. That wasn't me calling you out or anything. I was just like, yeah, I believe the Lich is voiced by a male actor and is, but it's more of a, yeah, it's more of a force of nature than it is a gendered person anyway. But yeah, this is, the Lich versus hot. No. I refuse. The Lich is not hot. Marceline's my favorite. Marceline's my favorite too. I mean, Princess Bubblegum being like an amoral creator, like scientist character is really fun, but Marceline has to take the cake every time. Absolutely. Yeah, this is, yeah, that's the episode. 10 out of 10 wood, you get me. Oh. Zilu. We're still working. We'll eventually get back to working. But I have to talk about Adventure Time, and I have to talk about the Lich, because the Lich, over the course of the show, becomes one of the best recurring things that happens. Makes me very happy. Laumuzoa is a... Ooh, Ziluzoa. Ziluzoia, but that's Z... So, what if I got crazy? Ziluzoa. I'm not convinced by it yet. Feels like you're trying to win Scrabble using all the high-value letters. That's... I feel called out and attacked right now. That is far too accurate for my comfort. Yeah, I do try to win at Scrabble, even when I'm not playing Scrabble. No, I'm actually kidding. You saying that made me realize how true what you said was, and that was fun for me. I'm not actually feeling called out or attacked. That was meant to be a joke. My bad. How do we do this? Exact. You could say you were /J. Absolutely, I was /J. Yes, I was joking, and you go. uh, uh, you really have opened my eyes to something really like genuinely helpful. That's going to like just for the rest of my existence, for the next 100 years that I'm alive. Yeah, I intend to live till I'm 125. You kidding? I will be able to use those, and it will be helpful. So thank you so much. Today's been a good day. Today's been a really good day in the life of Mr. J. MacGregor. Hello, Clint Beastwood. Want to become famous by Flowers, Primes, and Viewers on that. That's not the kind of thing that I appreciate in the chat, Mr. Clint. Buy followers, primes, etc. I think we're good. But thank you for the offer, Mr. Clint Beastwood. And if you could take your business elsewhere. I'm not interested in buying followers. I'm interested in people who are interested in the channel finding it and having a good time and chatting and throwing me off the rails because that's fun. So if you could vamoose, please. Maybe I can do something about that, actually. See thread. Let's see if there's something I can do about that message. Get it out of here. I don't know if there is. It's okay. I could clear chat. That's not exactly the same. I'm sure it's fine. I will just let everybody. Hey. Just want to be able to read what that says. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out OBS at the moment. My moderator. In any case, I will let people decide whether or not they want that thing to happen. Boop, 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 boop. I don't know what I was talking about. That's throwing me a little bit off. Okay, yes. Let's go to the continent of Ion Voss. Kind of weird that you can't. There we go. Epacriel. And now we know that we have the lawless lands in the south. The lawless lands are known by the people who live there as the free lands, so let's call them that. Let's call them the free lands instead of the lawless lands. We also know that there's another city that is going to be in this sort of area, which is going to be northern. It's going to be... Oh, it's meant to be more like desert-y. But on the same... Does it have to be on the same continent, actually? That's a great question. Maybe it's on Tamazia. Maybe it is. Because the north could be the provinces. Or it could be the provinces of Tamazia, and then this... So maybe, yeah, maybe it's more central, deserty, but there's water nearby, so that makes a bit of sense. And then instead of the freelance, that is going to be Yorva. Yorva's Center of a militaristic empire. Nation. Yorva. And then so we've got those landmarks. Then over here, oops. We've got the provinces. The idea of the provinces is that it's a collection of small states, basically. Can I ban users? That's a great question. It's a great question. Let's figure out if I can. Let's figure out if I can do that. I probably have the power to do a lot more than I know how to do. Actually, you know what? Let's have a quick peek. Look at the message you want to delete in the chat. Click the delete message trash can on the left side of the username. Well, at some point, Josh, we can meet and I can set up your settings. I would really appreciate that, Carrie. If we could just have a chat and we could sort out overlays for streaming and stuff, and then we can set up the multiple camera thing that you were talking about, and we could set up stream and how it works, and Twitch and how it works for this. That would be great. I'm gonna try one thing. Hold on. Oh, that makes everything so much clearer. Deleted. Ha 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 ha. Aha. I figured it out. Haha. We went on in the UK. Gonna have a dinner night and banter talk to eating. Oh my god. It's done. That will happen. That will happen. Yeah, you'd be more than welcome here or whatever, but we'll set it up. That sounds wonderful. It just sounds wonderful. This made me so happy. Thank you so much for the thing. Yeah, sounds great. I have to I don't know what's going. Yeah. I keep forgetting that there's a little bit of a delay, where I'll say stuff and then it'll take a few seconds for it to get to you guys. But yeah. Okay, so great. We've got Eorva, we've got a Pakriel, we've got the Freelands, the provinces. I feel like the Elven secret hidden kingdom. Well, let's go back to Unan. What did we get? Regions. Yeah, there's an Elven kingdom. The Archipelago. I forgot about this. Yeah, 100%. Let's throw. You don't think the Elven Kingdom should be on Talaris? Because that sounds Elven-y. Elven Kingdom. Let's figure out a name for an Elven Kingdom, because that's just a placeholder. We don't want that. We want the actual name. Talaris. Be an Elven Kingdom. Yeah, wonderful idea. We don't need Grung. We do need Elven kingdom name. Elven word for center. Parf et Helen. In the middle, between. Ed Helen sounds like a great name for something, actually, because in between is very much, yeah, so it's like a meeting place of, between their world and other worlds. Yeah, Ed Helen, we've got a name. That's nice. I like that. I like that. Regions. The Elven Kingdom of Ed Helen. Deal. Wonderful. That getting sorted feels amazing. Now we don't want one kingdom to span an entire continent. We've got the continental conflicts between on Ionvos between Yorva, Epacriel. You know what? We could move the provinces over. Or there could have been other kingdoms that Yorva took over, so like other city-states up there. So let's throw a few more city-state icons. Let's make a one there. Oh, one there. That's part of the Dahiri Empire for sure. Yeah, so sort of yeah, it was once like 3 kingdoms, and then became the Yorvan nation. So let's make a couple more city names. On Ionvos, Epacriel, Yorva, hmm. I know. And Eogras. Eogar. Eogar. I like that. We'll call the city Eogar. And obviously this is not at Helen. Yorva. Yorva, Eogar, and Terra. Torvos. towering city of Ionvos. Yeah, that feels right. Feels interesting. Let's go over to cities. So under Eorva, what we want. Ooh, I don't know how I did that. It's the only reason I don't like. Yeah, like that. That's what I want. Eorva. We've got the city of Aogar and Torvos. What if we then went bum ba 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 bum ba da ba bum. Oh no, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Nations and Helen. The Freelands. Red Isles. The Pacriel. Yorba. So we start to get under Eorva. Under Eorva. Now, you're excited about that. I'm pretty sure there's something I'm missing. What did I miss, Carrie? Under Eorva. Under Eorva. I don't know what I'm missing. I feel bad because I should know, but I don't. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Oh, I will let you fill me in if you to the tune of Under the Sea. Under Eorva. Under Eorva. Darling, it's better when you've been conquered by our nation. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. That's amazing. That is amazing. Okay. Let's write these out. We've got Gaul, Ionvos, Tamazia, Hexat, Keoth. Even I have a problem. Talaris and Okied. Oh yeah, and Abaruza. What a jam. Delay troubles. Doesn't help that it wasn't a music mode. I mean, no, it's all good. It is all good. I was just like, is this a pun? Is this an innuendo? Is this wordplay? What is it that I'm not hearing? And the fact that it was music is like, oh, good. I didn't miss anything. Yeah, so that's just good for me. Fantastic. Regions. So actually we can just copy this. Led by the unrisen one. Like that, and then we can get rid of this being written the way it is, and our regions suddenly become continents. Huzzah! In no particular order, these are Gaul, Tamazia, Kia, Oked, Ion Boss, Hexat, Talaris, and Abaruza. So yeah, this world is absolutely massive. This is just a massive world. And there's gonna be a lot going on this world, and it's not gonna be divided specifically by race either. Even though, oh crap, yeah, Eogar's in the entirely wrong place. Let's move that. Oops. Let's move those guys all the way over to there, because that is the continent of Ion Voss. And I feel like we can put a little reminder for ourselves. Just say Ion Voss and make it very much smaller. Great. Good. Done. What was I even talking about? Yeah, there's gonna be, and it's not gonna be specifically by race either, because this is a trading world. That's gonna, like, there's gonna be so much going on this world, and so many spaceports. Like, they're gonna be centers of trade everywhere. And then there'll be obviously like places where it's like, this is more of an elven thing, but like still very multicultural, and still lots and lots of people from different races. And the same with, like, Shekra Nagol is like Orcish islands, and very much sort of like home for orcs, but they would travel all over the world, and then it spread out as well. And Carrie has said something. See, my method with naming things is a lot easier. As I just cry out noises until it sounds like it's a word. That is a fair methodology. I could do that. It's just that I don't feel like it most of the time, because this way is more fun for me. Might not be more fun to watch, but it's more fun just to think about putting, for me personally, think about trying to put meaning from like a bunch of different languages in there, and coming up with what sounds cool, like by piecing together like phonetic components. But yelling things is also cool. Speaking in tongues is a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun. So you can always be like, oh yes, Elefes shalom batetela filesh Lishanan could be something. When you talking about like just crying out, and give um, if I accidentally say something offensive in the midst of that, I apologize to anybody and everybody. This is why this is being a little bit more deliberate. There are two types of storytellers, Josh. Put loads of thought into meaning. Me. Pewengorger! Yes, that is a name. You tell me how to pronounce that, and I think it's fantastic. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's wonderful. And here's the best part about that is that, like, the two types of storytellers you're describing, it's well. No, I understand. I believe. No, I got that it was Welsh. I still that's why I need you to explain how it's pronounced, because it uses our alphabet and none of the rules that tend to go with our alphabet. Um, the thing about those types of storytellers is there is no right way, which is the beauty of it, is that uh, either way is equally great. Pio, Pio, George, Pio George, Pio George. How am I doing? Pio George. It's great. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to say. Hard G in the middle. Pio Georg. Pio George. George. Pio George. Pio George. Cool. Pio George. Is that the name of your oh wait, both hard G's. Pio Georg. Pio Georg. My name is Pio Georg. And I am here to kick ass. I don't know what your voice would be for the character, but if this is your if this ends up being your Kagrian character, Pio Georg, the goat folk character. I'm no pressure, but Pio Georg is great. Josh, this is your goat folk character name. I called it. Yes, huzzah! Victory for the goat folk, Pio Georg. We're putting it in that in our racist homebrew that the goat folk we're just gonna put Welsh. We're just gonna put Welsh in the document, and we're gonna see what happens later. Okay, so it feels like we're beginning something here. We've got these continents. We're beginning to populate the provinces with different nations and city-states. I have to write this down. I have to write down your character's name so I know how to spell it and how to pronounce it. WHGIEAWRG, pronounced Pio Georg. Pio Georg. There you go. That Pio Georg is your goat folk character. The Kagrian, that is absolutely fantastic. Carrie, I look forward to listening to everybody learn how to say Pio Georg. This is the highlight of my day. It's the highlight of my day too, Carrie. Thank you so much for bringing this brightness and joy into the stream. What a fun stream this has been. Thank you so much to everybody who has messaged, with the exception of the guy who was trying to get people to buy stuff. And next week we're gonna come straight back to Unan, and we're gonna start talking. We're not necessarily gonna flesh out everything on all of these continents, but no, I know it wasn't a real guy. And I know. It's a shame it's not a real guy, because then we could have told him off properly. But yeah. But yeah, next time we're gonna come back to Unan. We might spend 3 on Unan actually. Um, we're gonna start talking about secret societies, and we're gonna start talking about secret agencies and arms of governments and things being involved here. We might actually go deeper into like city world building and see like take a look at what one of these metropolitan like really metropolitan trading centers would look like. I do want to know a little bit more about the different continents, though, and I want to learn more about the people who live here and dig into some of the history and recent history and how the world has changed and stuff. Um, yeah, that's the beginning of Unan. We got absolutely crazy with going off track and making Kagrian goat folk and Gotchin frog folk, and I loved every second of it. It's wonderful. And then I had to make tea, and this is gonna be one of those like crazy settings where it's like this works. This works like it, like oh, this is one of the ones that I'm gonna want to run entire campaigns of D&D on because it's gonna be full of cool intrigue and so big and you can go anywhere and then it's everywhere in the world. I'm I don't know what to do with my hands. It makes me so excited. This setting would be something to do like the next actual campaign that I would want to run D&D wise in. This would be the next like campaign setting or campaign starting place. You know what I'm saying? Like, this makes me excited. This world. I've been wanting to do like an Ignaculus campaign, like maybe it's the next thing that I do, because I've just done a lot of stuff on Cygalia, which is super fun, and I love Cygalia as a setting, and we will go there one day on Building Worlds. For those of you who want to check out more about that, there are campaigns on the Hidden Realms channel, so go check that out. But the next one I wanted to do would be more in the galaxy. People could go explore different worlds and go where they wanted to be open galaxy as opposed to open world, like sandboxy. So Unan is super exciting for that because it feels like a central hub. It feels like the center of things in the galaxy. So I want to thank everyone who watched. Hope you enjoyed during the stream and post stream for watching there, and we'll catch you next time for another one on Unan. Hey, see you later. Bye. This was fun. Thank you, Carrie. Mwah. Goodbye. Have a lovely evening. Mwah.